Alright, what is up guys? Randomonium here. We're going to be talking about Courage of the Colossus. It's the new mastery for Season 7 and the Resolve tree. We're going to be talking about who can actually use it and who is it actually good on. So my original idea for this video was to get video from every single champion using Courage of the Colossus and what abilities it procs on and things like that. But as you can imagine with a roster of over 140 champions, that proved to be unbelievably difficult. After about 30 or 40 champions, I felt like I was going to tear my hair out, and I realized that the video would be far too long for me to actually do it in that method. So instead, I'm just going to mainly be focusing on text, and I'm going to break the champions down into tier levels, telling you who can actually use it and who is it actually good on. So first off, let's talk about what is Courage of the Colossus. Courage of Colossus, it gives you a shield of 10 plus 10 per level plus 7% of your maximum health for each nearby enemy champion. It lasts for 4 seconds, and you proc the shield after you hit an enemy champion with hard CC. And it's a 30-second cooldown. So there's a couple different things. You have to have a champion that actually has hard CC in their kit, and then this shield scales mainly off of maximum health. So we're looking for champions that are going to be stacking health to get the most bang for our buck out of this mastery. But the big thing that we need to define is we need to define what is hard crowd control. And in League of Legends, hard crowd control is any crowd control that prohibits the player from moving their champion for any period of time. So complete movement denial. So that includes like snares and roots, and it also includes any type of CC that prevents the champion from moving or forces them to move in a way that is not in control of the player. For example, stuns, including suspensions, which is like Nami's bubble, suppression, which would be like Malzahar's ultimate or Warwick's ultimate, any type of stasis like a Bard ultimate or a Zanya's, snares and roots, which we've already talked about, which is anything that's not including slows. So slows are different from snares and roots. So it's something that just stops movement. So that even includes like Caitlyn traps, Lyssandra's W, things like that. Any type of attack that moves the target, which is considered to be airborne, so a knocked aside, a knocked back, a knocked up, or pulled. So fresh pull, blitzcrank pull, Tristana ultimate knocking them back, Draven stand aside, which knocks them aside, or any kind of knock up like a Yasuo Q or a Cho'Gath rupture, anything like that. And then the final form of hard CC is forced action. And there's 3 different types. There's charm, there's fear, and there's taunt. So charm makes the character or the champion move towards the caster. Fear or flee makes the target move away from the caster, and then taunt makes the target attempt to auto attack the caster. So those are all the different types of hard CC that are in League of Legends. And with that in mind, let's get into who cannot use Courage of the Colossus, and that are my F champions. So these are the champions that have no hard CC in their kit. If you pick Courage of the Colossus with these champions, you're essentially trolling your team because that mastery is useless with these champions. So they are Akali, Dr. Mundo, Evelynn, Ezreal, Gangplank, Garen, Graves, Alawi, Karthus, Kassadin, Katarina, Kayle, Kha'Zix, Kindred, Kog'Maw, Lucian, Master Yi, Misfortune, Mordekaiser, Nasus, Nidalee, Nunu, Olaf, Sivir, Talon, Teemo, Tryndamere, Twitch, Vladimir, Yorick, and Zed. A little note on Yorick: it might be possible to proc it with his barrier, but it's near impossible to do. It's very, very difficult to do, so that's why I still have him as an F champion. Moving on to the D champions, these are the champions that can use Courage of the Colossus. They do have some type of hard CC in their kit, but another mastery is always going to be better with these champions over Courage of the Colossus. So I would strongly recommend you not take Courage of the Colossus with these champions. And those are Ahri, Ashe, Azir, Bard, Brand, Caitlyn, Cassiopeia, Corki with his empowered W, Draven, Elise, Fiddlesticks, Fiora, Jhin, Jinx, Kalista, Karma, LeBlanc, Lulu, Lux, Orianna, Quinn, Shyvana, Sona, Soraka, Syndra, Talia, Tristana, Twisted Fate, Varus, Vayne, Veigar, Vel'Koz, Victor, Xerath, Ziggs, and Zyra. So these are the champions that could use Courage of the Colossus, but you don't want to take Courage of the Colossus on them. Moving on to our C champions. These are champions that can use Courage of the Colossus, but you kind of are like, why would you? Like, there's only very like rare instances where I think that you would want to use them, like specific builds or specific styles of playing the champion. So I would say, well over 90% of the time, you're not going to be taking Courage of the Colossus with these champions. And those are Aatrox, Anivia, Annie, Aurelion Sol, Blitzcrank, Cho'Gath, Echo, Fizz, Aurelia, Janna, Jace, Malzahar, Morgana, Nami, Nocturne, Rengar, Shaco, Singe, Swain, Trundle, and Zillion. That moves us on to the B champions. This is where we're actually getting into the champions where you might actually want to use Courage of the Colossus. And these are the champions where I'm like, oh, this could definitely be overpowered on these champions. So these are the champions that I need to do more testing on because there might be some certain build orders or some certain ways of playing these champions that could be very powerful with Courage of the Colossus. And that includes Darius, Diana, Gnar, Heimerdinger, because a lot of people are going a lot of like tank, split push Heimerdinger builds, and that extra shield could be very powerful with him. Jax, Kennen, Kled, Lee Sin with a flash kick. He gets a huge shield which allows him to get out to safety. Lysandra, because it gets procced on not only her R but also her W. Pantheon, Renekton, Riven, Rise, Shen, Thresh, Udyr, Urgot, because it will proc on his ultimate, Volibear, Warwick, Wukong, Xin Zhao, and Yasuo. So these are the champions that I'm like, wow, this could be really overpowered in certain instances with these champions. But I definitely think there needs to be a lot more testing, a lot more of experimentation going on with these champions in particular. And that brings us to our A champions. So these are the champions that Courage of the Colossus will be fantastic on, but there may be other masteries that you want to go instead of Courage of the Colossus. Like you're not going to be wrong going Courage of the Colossus, but there needs to be more experimentation done to see what is the optimal build. And a lot of these champions are champions that are already going to go down the resolve tree, so it's a question of is Grasp of the Undying, Courage of the Colossus, or Bond of Stone the best for these champions? These are the champions where they have multiple ways of proccing Courage of the Colossus. It just feels really good with these champions. And those are Alistar, Braum, Leona, Malphite, Maokai, Nautilus, Poppy, Scion, Tamkech, and Taric. I know a lot of you guys are going to say that, Courage of the Colossus is great on these champions. Why aren't they S tier champions? The reason why they're not S tier is because we're not sure yet if Courage of the Colossus is going to be better than the other Resolve Tree masteries. Like, for example, Scion. Scion's going to be fantastic with Courage of the Colossus. But Grasp of the Undying, that extra sustain that he gets, it might be better if you're playing Scion in the top lane. So that's why I'm hesitant to put them in the S tier, because there are other strong contenders for the best champion mastery with these champions. And that moves us on to our S tier champions. And you'll notice that most of these champions are junglers. And that's because these are the champions that went Strength of the Ages, and now that it's gone, they can still go Courage of the Colossus, and it's pretty much the best option for all of them. So with these champions, you're going to want to take Courage of the Colossus most of the time, like the vast majority of the time with these champions. And those are Amumu, who can proc it with both his Bandage Toss and his ultimate, Galio with his ultimate, Gragas, Hecarim, Ivern, who can proc it with his Q, and also Daisy's Third Strike will proc Courage of the Colossus, Jarvan, Rammus, Rek'Sai, Sejuani, Skarner, Vi, and Zac. So these are the champions that I think it's going to be really powerful on. They've got multiple ways of proccing it, and these are the champions that already would normally go Strength of the Ages a lot of the time. Or it's just so powerful on those champions you definitely want to go Courage of the Colossus, like Galio. Definitely it gives him a massive shield if he can get his flash ult off. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you're excited to play Courage of the Colossus with, and let me know if you disagree with my list. I hope you all have a great day. This is Randomonium signing off.